Hi everyone, welcome back to yet another exciting live session by Voice of Crypto, where we talk about all things Web3, crypto, and blockchain. And today I have quite a few important announcements to make for our communities and a few landmarks that I have to share as well in the journey of Voice of Crypto that we've recently managed to sort of achieve. And if you already follow us on the various social media platforms that we're on, including LinkedIn, Twitter, uh, LinkedIn X, YouTube, um, our Telegram, Facebook, as well as Instagram. So if you are already following us on a bunch of our social media platforms, then you would already know what this announcement is going to be about. But before I start today's session, it's almost the holiday time. It's time for Christmas and New Year's. So we, as you must already be familiar, that we at Voice of Crypto host quite a few giveaways, and for the last a couple of months, we have been doing our weekly giveaways, which are worth about $100. So every week we allocate about $100 to people in our community who engage the most with us, or simply leave comments that are relevant for other community members. So if you're one of them, go ahead and make sure that you are on our Telegram community. The link to our Telegram community will be left in the comments section of whichever social media you guys have joined. But that said, another really important news that I have for anyone who's joined today is that very recently on Binance, Voice of Crypto managed to ace the 5,000 follower mark. So thank you, everyone. Sorry, I did once again understate, because it's a big number. That was, in fact, not true. It's not a 5,000. In fact, it's a 50,000 follower mark that we have recently managed to ace. So 50,000 follow count on Binance. Finally, a big, big shout out to our Web3 communities on Binance. Thank you so much for loving us the way you guys do. And it's a pleasure to be hosting these daily live sessions with the Web3 communities. Once again, a big shout out to especially our Binance community. We are a 50,000 big family on Binance. Big shout out to the Voice of Crypto family on Binance. Now, without further ado, we will dive right into our session. For today, we, as you all must be familiar, anyone who's joining for the first time, in these daily live sessions, we take a look at the crypto market. We deep dive into some of the top trends of the market, as well as look at the key news in the market that sort of shook the market. And today we will first be taking a look at the global crypto market cap, which has slid by just about 0.28%, not a lot in terms of a fall. And what's really positive here is that the global crypto market cap has still maintained above the 1.6 trillion US dollar mark. So not bad there. However, the volumes, as we can clearly see, have slid and are currently at about 57 billion US dollars. So not a lot going on in terms of activity just on the retail side in the crypto market at this point, as we can see. There's in fact a 2.66% decrease in terms of the total crypto market volume in the last 24 hours. A look at Bitcoin suggests that BTC's, while it has maintained above the 42.5 K US dollar mark, there's a little bit of fall on the daily price perspective. BTC has fallen by 0.76%. On the weekly, however, we see that BTC price managed to make a pretty decent recovery, 4.27% on the weekly, and we saw Bitcoin price falling down to the 40.5 US dollar, 44.5K US dollar mark. So from there now to above 42,750 mark, it's quite a bit of recovery from the lower levels. In terms of Ethereum price, the top altcoin in the market, Ethereum's fallen by over 1.5%, almost 1.5% on the daily. On the weekly, while Ethereum has managed to maintain its price action, there's not a lot of gains or a lot of losses for ETH at this point. Nonetheless, the 2200 US dollar mark has been maintained. As long as ETH price is able to oscillate above that, there's quite a bit to look forward to in terms of action. But moving on to some of the top altcoins, we don't see a lot of moves happening, especially either bullish or bearish for the top 10 to 15, 20 altcoins in the market. Internet computer, of course, has fallen quite a bit after the massive rally that it managed to chart in the last week or so. But other than that, not a lot of gains for any of the top altcoins, while they have managed to make BNB, for instance, has gained almost 2% on a daily perspective. Solana, over 2.5%, almost 2.5% gains. Weekly gains are intact for Solana, as we can see, over 16% still in place. Same goes for Avalanche. It has had a pretty decent trajectory in the last couple of weeks, and AVAX has managed to maintain the over 15% gains on the weekly price perspective. Both of these altcoins are doing pretty well on the daily perspective as well, but not a lot, like I said, in terms of gains or losses. Dogecoin, the top meme coin in the market, has of course fallen by a little over 2% on both the daily as well as the weekly perspective. And likewise for its competitor Shiba Inu. However, SHIB has managed to maintain the over 9% gains on the weekly. We will quickly take a look at the top gainers of the day. So, just to understand how the market has been, well, quite a few altcoins managed to rally this Wednesday, and despite the midweek blues, we have seen stacks, near protocols, near token, Mina, H bar, which is headrest token, Soy, WeChain, Injective, all of these have managed to chart pretty decent gains. However, the top gainers, the top three gainers at least of today who've managed to chart double digit gains on the daily perspective would be Stacks, Nia, and Mina. So a pretty good short term as well as long term outlook for these three altcoins in particular at the moment anyway. But I'm pretty sure that these altcoins would be, or their trajectories would be a little bit too saturated at this point. So a lot would depend on retail euphoria for these top gainers. However, like we already know, it's never good to make predictions in the crypto market, and we won't do that here on Voice of Crypto. So a quick disclaimer for anyone who's joined, that being none of what we say in these sessions or what our guests say in these sessions is financial advice. So always make sure that you do your own research. The crypto market is a highly volatile market, and only invest what you can afford to lose. So make sure that DYOR, or do your own research, is your mantra to stick by in this market. That said, the topic of discussion for today has been will Bitcoin approval impact the crypto market? Well, it isn't wrong to say that the entire BTC ETF approval news has been a big leader in terms of where the market goes or how the market performs. There's a lot of euphoria, there's a lot of anticipation, retail as well as institutional anticipation around the approval of a Bitcoin ETF. And yet again, today we saw another news in the market where BlackRock, Nasdaq, and SEC met once again regarding the Bitcoin ETF discussion. And this is the second meeting in a month between these three parties about rule changes that would be required to list the Bitcoin ETF. So there were, of course, representatives from these three firms, the US SEC, NASDAQ, and BlackRock. And as I already mentioned, this was the second time in a month that these people have met. According to the memo that was given out by these three parties, it said that the discussion concerned the NASDAQ stock market LLC's proposed rule change to list and trade shares of iShares Bitcoin Trust under NASDAQ Rule 5711D. And the NASDAQ rule 5711D establishes specific criteria and regulatory guidelines for the listing and trading of commodity based trust shares on the NASDAQ exchange. And it also details the requirements for initial and continued listings, along with surveillance and compliance measures to ensure that the market is protected against fraudulent activities. So, what's expected at this point would be some more discussions around the topic, and of course, there would be presentations made from BlackRock, and they would detail various models. In the recent November meeting, these three parties had met to discuss around the same topic, and BlackRock provided a presentation that detailed two models, in kind and in cash redemption, for supporting their proposed BTC ETF. And of course, very recently, BlackRock revised its spot Bitcoin ETF proposal to include also cash redemptions, aiming to meet SEC's preference. Um, and if nothing, these frequent meetings are sort of instilling more confidence in the communities. And there is, at least at this point, a lot of speculation that early next year or first quarter of next year is when we can finally see a Bitcoin spot ETF going live. But then again, these are expectations, these are anticipations, and these are just predictions that the market is coming up with at this point. But we at Voice of Crypto aren't about predictions; we're about believing in facts. And as of now, factually, there is no confirmation of a Bitcoin ETF coming in the picture anytime soon. But there is, like I said, a lot of anticipation around it. So watch out for that. And with that, we will wrap today's episode. Thank you so much for joining us once again. And thank you so much to our Binance communities, the most amazing, lovely Web3 communities. And very recently, we managed to ace the 50,000 follow mark on Binance. So it's a big thing. It's a big achievement for us to have our Binance family 50,000 strong. So thank you so much for all the support and love that you give to Voice of Crypto. And our aim is that everyone is Voice of Crypto. Stay tuned for all the other live sessions this week before Christmas. And another big announcement that I have for anyone who's joined is that we are going to go live with the blockchain sensei as well as the BitBlonde team. So watch out for that. This would be a Christmas session. We also have a lot of interesting things prepared for early next year. We are going to give an overview of how the next year would look like in terms of crypto, where your investments should be, how your portfolios should look like, just advices and speculation. And of course, a lot of research and analysis is going to be happening on these sessions. These two specific sessions are Christmas session and our New Year's session. So stay tuned for that. And throughout this week, stay tuned for all our live sessions, wherein we will be discussing some of the top news in the market, as well as looking at the market very closely before the year ends. So stay tuned for that. And once again, thanks everyone for joining. I will see you tomorrow at the same time on all of these same places with new, fresh updates from the crypto, Web3, and blockchain markets. Thank you so much for joining us. Bye bye.